Welcome to Framework Fortune and welcome back Framework Fortune community. I'm your host Ben and we've got our co-host Hal Hart, H&H Trader, joining us for another episode of The Last Rip where we take a look at some of the top gainers on the day, recap some of the day trades we took, and look for some trades tomorrow. So time is our most valuable asset. Let's not waste any of it and dive right in. What happened on the SPY today? So not getting a push up, did hold above the 10-day moving average. I would say tomorrow, since it held there, we might see a push up. What do you think there, Hal? It looks, look at this volatility though today. This is some wackiness. Just selling off hard at market open, straight back up, straight back down.
What's the top of that channel right there? It looks like on the 5 minute, it looks like it's like in a channel going across. What's the top of that channel? And so it's about a $3 little channel it seems to be in.
Yeah, and that actually explains too why low float penny stocks and stuff have not had a whole lot of good volume and consistency, because we're just going sideways in the market.
It's like right in the middle of that channel right now, closed.
Yeah, it could just continue to go sideways tomorrow some more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. That's a good spot on this channel. I didn't notice it, but yeah, I think you're right. It's like a 50-50 shot of how the market's going to open. But then even if it does drop, it could bounce off the bottom of that channel again, because that's the type of movements we're getting. Big volatile drops and rips back up.
Let's just talk about you and this your lucky leprechaun coin you got in your pocket.
My lucky leprechaun coin. You can't call this one luck. We've been talking about it for 2 days. It was on the watch list. I've alerted it. It's not like this one popped out of nowhere and I wrote this up. We were talking about it last night on the last rip. I said if this is an indecision candle, if it starts pushing up and going green, it could run. But I saw it came down and the 10 adaptive EMA never crossed to the purple side. So I got in there, actually first 50 shares at 576, and then it's continued to ride up that adaptive. So for the test of 6, I added 50 more shares. And then it did break over 6 up to 653, and I was kind of beating myself up because I didn't lock anything in here. I was up $50, and I was like, I should have locked something in. And then it came back down and crossed over the purple line, and at this point I was like, well, that's still right around where my entry is. So if that 575 support could hold right there, then I'll just continue to hold it. And it did end up holding, and we got a crossover back over. And then just every time that it shot up and then had a pullback, I would just keep moving my stop loss up when I saw that the support area was holding. So like after this pop up to 739, I still didn't lock anything in. And I let it come back down, and it tried to hold. Those moving averages did drop a little bit, which was concerning. But I looked at it, and you could see right across the top of there, it's like 650 was previous resistance. So that 650 was testing as new support. So I put my stop loss right under it, and it never hit my stop loss. So it continued to run, and then it started making this triangle here. So I sold half of it, and then when it broke out of that triangle, I sold 10 at the top of this little candle, and I gave it a second to hold up that 10 adaptive, and it held up, ripped up again. And then you just see right there at the end of the day where I was just trying to hold for the $10 break. I never locked in over 10, but I locked 20 shares out there at 952, 967, and then when it started coming back down and dropped to the downside of this indecision candle, I sold 10 more, and I'm actually still holding 10. I still have 10 more of Flgc, and it may have a pullback tomorrow because this is like it's way off this trend line. So we can see it come down there and maybe bounce off of that 7, or it possibly could continue because we have nothing ahead of us. We know $10 now is going to be a resistance, but since there's not been any huge rippers, and this one's 63% today, I think this is going to be on people's radar tomorrow. But all in all, right now I'm up $237 on Flgc, still holding 10 shares, looking for that $10 break. So that was a very nice win, making up a bunch of my losses from Monday and Tuesday.
Man, with all this profit taking, what the action that we've seen on Nero and BTBT, they usually do a little bit of moving down after a day like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely. I mean, you got 10 shares. I mean, it's not like you're in any risk. I don't think if your entry was down there at the $5. So
Yeah, my average is right now $5.96 after all the profits I've took. So we got 10 shares at
yeah,
$5.96.
yeah. So even if it were to gap down, I think you would still be pretty safe. So I mean, holding 10 overnight. So in BTBT today, I was watching it and I saw this explosion out of BTBT. I was like, oh my goodness, what in the world's going on? So it exploded. It gave a pullback. And I was like, okay, I'm looking for entries up here. Yeah, so it did
Okay.
that little drop down, and then it tried to come up. It gave a little fake out on that red candle right there.
This one
Right
right
there.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then that dip was my entry once I saw it hold up right there. That red candle right there
Okay.
was my entry. But it just couldn't continue, so I went ahead and cut it.
So did you take a loss on it, or you
No,
lock anything in
I
on?
took profit. Yeah, I
Oh,
went
okay.
ahead. Like I said, once I saw the beginning of that top and tail, I was already breaking down my position. I was in 175. I think I had like 100 shares left up there close to the top. And once I saw the weakness, boy, I was piling out of there.
Yeah, I mean that's what you got to keep eye on, them upper wicks.
Yeah.
This is just getting held up at the 200-day moving average. It shot up there twice now,
Mm-hmm.
and it needs to break that if it's going to continue. At the same time, Bitcoin is trying to break 40,000. It has gotten over it, but still struggling with it, having a little fight. And I think that's all this is waiting for is Bitcoin to break over that 40,000. And that's why I'm still holding. And you can see I actually added 10 more here at this $9 area on this first red candle because I was expecting it to at least try to get to 10. But I had 15 shares before, so I added 10, so it just brought my average up to 7. So I'm still $1 above what my average is. It's been on this uptrend, and tomorrow if it gaps down a little bit, which the 200 days right here, so it might not. There's strong support actually, a lot of support actually right here across the 775 area. And that's right where the 200 is, so this may not even drop down that low. I don't want to say 100% sure because anything can happen, but more than likely, if Bitcoin breaks 40,000, starts moving up to 43, 45, we should see pretty heavy volume in BTBT.
Yeah, I was I don't know like when Bitcoin I was going and checking Bitcoin's price during BT's move, especially that first explosion.
Mm-hmm.
It was Bitcoin when I first checked Bitcoin, it was at 39,600 something. And it moved up to 39,700 and that's when we saw that explosion. And
Yep.
so I was like, oh boy, Bitcoin might go ahead and break 40. So I was getting in for that run up there with that 175 shares. But then Bitcoin started to struggle.
Yep.
And
That's
when I
the.
saw struggle in Bitcoin, I put the parachute on.
Yep. That's all you have to do when you're trading these crypto stocks like BTBT, Mara, Riot, because the majority of their money is Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up in price, the value of their company goes up in price. That's why I've been in this and bullish on it and adding to it. That's why I didn't even care about adding this 10 shares. Like I said, I may add more tomorrow. I just now noticed we're in this big consolidation wedge for this break at 10.
I don't think it's that risky of a play because all you got to do is watch Bitcoin.
Yeah.
If Bitcoin struggles, you already know it's about to dump, and that's what I saw today. But if Bitcoin would have kept pushing over 40K,
Oh, yeah,
I
it
would
would
have
have
held
ripped.
at 175.
Yeah, it would have ripped more than likely. But yeah, BTBT I think is still one to keep on watch for tomorrow, and
Yeah.
maybe I mean as long as if we're back into a hot bull market in cryptos, then BTBT could keep running as long as Bitcoin's running. If Bitcoin goes to 100,000, then BTBT, the value of their company is going to skyrocket. So now my other win today was a $55 win on Naov. This was a little slow one, little slow fella that took its time all day. So it made this little red short candle and held above the 10-day moving average, which was crossed over all the other moving averages. So I just looked for it to bounce. That's pretty much what I was looking at, a little bounce off there. But it was just climbing up slowly. I mean, there was a trend line there. I didn't have it drawn, but you can see right there where it just kept climbing up. And so I got in there at 185 and just held it and just kept climbing right up that trend line and right up the moving averages. And then as soon as we got to that top there and I saw indecision, you can see the double top, as clear as day right there.
I was very cautious on NAOV because my rules, I like to trade things that are getting away from $2 quickly. And it just, like an old person all day. Like you would have had to sit in that one, and I just didn't have time. Because look where you entered.
Oh, I know.
At the 185, what was that? Almost 4 hours before it reached the top?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 hours. It took forever just to break too. I was sitting here editing and doing other stuff while I was watching FLGC and NAOV off and on. And every time I come back to NAOV, it'd be $190, $2, $185, $2, $187, $198. And I was just like, okay. And this is like over a couple hour span where it just would not do anything. It just stayed around that $2 area, just consolidating. And then it finally broke out. So a nice little win there, just slow. And that may be something I may look at right now. I mean, this work today, getting in on these little bit higher float stocks that had momentum and some PR lately and above all the indicators on the daily chart. It may be boring, but it can be profitable.
Pretty much all of them today were high floats. Like, I don't know if people are just avoiding the low floats since we've had a couple of bad low float days, especially after Neuro. The low floats have like lost their fire.
Yeah, because even INFI, that's the next top gainer, 61%, 88 million in shares. Oh yeah, SPRT.
SPRT made some moves. It consolidated forever today. Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, big triangle of consolidation right through here before it finally broke out.
And beautiful what is triangle. That? That's like 4 hours, isn't it? Just like yours.
Yeah, it's a 4-hour triangle. It did get a nice move though. It broke from 850 up to 10.
Yeah, but how long you have to go and get some newspapers or do something else while you waiting?
So we still got hung up at 10 though. If it doesn't break 10, I would say by tomorrow or Friday at the end of the month is going to be real sketchy. I'd say if it ain't broken out by tomorrow, we'll probably see a pullback.
I mean, it almost looks like it's already broken down the previous supports of this last consolidation, that 4-hour consolidation there. It broke down the supports already. Yeah, right there. All that's been broken. So I wouldn't even. That kind of takes my heart away from it.
Yeah, you're probably right. It more than likely. Well, let's see. See, there's the uptrend right there. So actually, it could bounce. This is a possible confirmation of an uptrend. It depends where it opens in the morning. Like right at the start at pre-market. If it opens below this trend line, it's going to dump. But if it stays above this trend line in pre-market, we could see it break. But I think that's all you got to look at. Just look at that trend line at pre-market open.
Man, a lot of these charts are just looking like death. I promise.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We can look at GRVI.
Oh, yeah, that was my other loss. I lost $18.50 on this one, but this was your loss too?
No, I did not get into this. I watched souls get taken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you get in before the halt or after the halt?
No, I got in like 9:30.
Oh, you got in way after that. Yeah, we saw the halt at the open.
Yeah, and then it looks like you said, some people got pretty destroyed there. Couldn't break that pre-market high, man. Seeing a rip like that with a halt up to pre-market high, unless you are a stone cold trader who's just is a robot, you would think that would have broke out over that pre-market high of 740. With that much coming into it. But I saw that, and it was holding right across $6. So I was like, well, if it's held $6 this long, I'm going to give it a shot. So I jumped in there right above the EMA when this indecision candle came back up at 635, and it did pop a little bit, but then got rejected off that purple DMA and just dumped again.
The level that we saw that it kept getting held on was 625. I mean, it tried 625 that whole time, and 625 just kept beating it. And so
Mm-hmm.
I told everybody in pre-market, hey, grab your popcorn, grab your breakfast burritos, and let's watch this thing do its thing. And literally, it was like a movie. Went
Yeah.
up, went into a halt. Everybody bought that little dip and thought it was gonna go higher.
Oh yeah,
Got
this dip.
smashed.
Yeah, this indecision here.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad I was late to the party because that probably saved me some money. And then I end up losing on it anyway later in the day. I didn't even trade it during the time when you were supposed to lose the money. I traded it later. Where'd it close at? So it closed under. Yeah, this looks pretty bad. It did
Yeah.
close above all the EMAs, but the 10 is way down here under the 50 and the 200, so it's still pretty bearish. Yeah, I don't think that's one worth watching. And anyway, if you got bent over a barrel and a pineapple shoved up your clacker from this candle here, I probably would never trade this again in my life. This stock would be on my no trade list.
Hey, also there was a move on Neuro as well today. Big
Oh, I heard
moves.
about that neuro move.
Yeah. So we watched this move. I actually saw it coming up, but the thing is, it wasn't on my scanner because it didn't have enough volatility. So by the time I saw it, it was like on a third green bar going up, and I was like, okay, this thing's getting super extended.
Right here.
And I mean, as soon as it hit that 22 level, man, it was like shorts just lit up.
Yeah, well, that 22 level has been the problem for Neuro for a while. That's where it got hung up last time.
Yeah.
Back through there, it tried to hold a support. So something's up with that 22 level that sellers and shorters, whoever, don't want it to get over.
Or maybe something's wrong with that 20 level that it's not being held over the 20.
That's true. On the daily, it hasn't closed over the $20 area except that day and that day. Even the big rip day, it closed under. Well, no, It closed right at 20. I could still keep it on watch for now because it is still above all the EMAs, but this little ugly candle here looks like we possibly could see this dump tomorrow back down to 10.
Yeah. I'll have to see it cross back over the that last red bar, whatever the high of that one is. That last one right there. What's
About
that?
1992, so it's 20.
Yeah,
20's
it
the
would need
line.
to be holding that up. Yep.
Yeah. 20 is the line on Neuro. So you ended up a little sideways on the day, a little bit in the green.
Yeah, it was just so minuscule green. But the loss that I would have taken on Btbt, I'm glad I got out where I did. Once I saw that little top and tail, because I was literally still holding 100 shares, got rid of 75 at the tip top, holding 100, and I just felt my soul coming out of my chest, so I went ahead and got out.
Yeah, you got to when you feel the soul coming out, you got to get out. That's just your number one indicator. You should, as a trader, you should have that little angel on one shoulder and that little devil on the other shoulder, and don't listen to either one of them. You make your own decisions. Flick those little things off your shoulder and go focus. Laser vision.
Yeah.
Robot swag.
I had to realize that I was trading higher flow stocks as well. So, those big pump outs, they don't really last long.
No, you get the big pop up to the next level, and then it just consolidates again.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm going to be keeping an eye on some of these kind of mid to high floats. I really wouldn't call these high floats, but they're mid floats. 53 million, 42 million, 88 million.
That's super high. Super high.
I still consider 100 million and below as a lowish float.
Low float for me is 10 and under. 10 million and under.
Well, you like the danger. You live a dangerous life. Well, that's it for tonight's episode of The Last Rip. We'll see how the market opens tomorrow. We'll see how Bitcoin ends up doing overnight tonight. It is the last 2 days of this trading week and the last 2 days of this trading month. So Thursday and Friday, we could see some sell-offs. We could see some very light volume. Some people probably are going on vacation because it is the end of the July, right before school. Expect the unexpected tomorrow. That's what I'm going to say.
Be careful, and take into consideration everything that is available to you, all the tools, volume, news catalyst, reading the candles in these last 2 days, because it's going to be rough, I believe. We'll see.
Appreciate everybody joining as always. If you haven't yet, go check out H&H Trader's channel. You can also see him live stream trading in the mornings too at the same time I am. Tomorrow I'm going to try to be ready for the 8 o'clock to 8:30 morning watch list discussion. We'll see. I should be though. But appreciate everybody joining us always. Stay safe out there. Until next time.